you had time to have discussion in the light of what Honorable Prime Minister had said. The point which I would like to emphasize is that the concept of Viksit Bharat, developed India, is not something which is new to us or alien to us, even fully taken off. And that was the time when Middle East was throbbing with intellectual activities. I am referring to 9th, 10th and 11th centuries. It is widely acknowledged that that period which started in the late 9th century and lasted for about 250 years, which is described as the golden period of Arab history. This is not the time in which they made military conquest. That period was already over. This is the time when they devoted to themselves to the pursuit of intellectual activities. Generally, we hear that it was because of the Arabs that the Greek knowledge was preserved, because in the 3rd century, they had decided, this was an official decision, 3rd, 4th century, that all Greek knowledge is pagan knowledge. And they had locked down the 800-year-old Academy of Plato. But in 10th century, the ruler of Baghdad, he wrote to Justinian, who was the emperor at that time, making a request that we have heard that so many books are lying locked in this building. Can you give some of them to us? The council of Emperor Justinian met for 3 days, and they finally decided to hand over all the books. And they had already found an institute in Baghdad which was known as Baitul Hikmah, the House of Wisdom, where all these books were translated into Arabic, and later they were translated back into European languages. But what mostly people do not discuss is that this golden period started with the translation of Sanskrit books into Arabic. In the 8th century, a man named Kanak Pandit, he traveled from Sindh to Baghdad. He was carrying a set of books, and in those books there was one book which was Surya Siddhant. When portions of the book were read out to the then ruler, Mansur, he was so fascinated that he ordered this book. That was the first ever book, more than 100 years before the Greek books were translated into Arabic. It was Surya Siddhant which was translated into Arabic. And the name given they selected one Fazari, an Arab scientist, and he and Kanak Pandit, and with a team of others, because this university in Nishapur, history tells us that although it was located outside the boundary of India, but more than 60% of the faculty consisted of Indians. So there were people, they were also recruited. And this book was translated into Arabic. A new title was given, Sindh Hind. Spain, which was also ruled by Arabs, and they had a very bitter relationship between the Baghdad and Spain. The ruler of Spain came to know about this book, and it is very well documented. People who belong to the discipline of history know Philip Hitti has written about it in detail. His famous book, History of Arabs. He has written about this in detail, that the ruler of the Spain came to know about this. He knew that the Baghdad will not give a copy of this book to him. So he paid a huge bribe to the scribes to get a copy of that book. And that is how Surya Siddhant reached Spain. And after few years or few decades, Surya Siddhant was translated almost into all European languages. And that became the basis for all the European space studies. We can feel very proud of the fact that it was an Indian book which brought this revolution. But at the same time, as Dr. Radhakrishnan says, that we also have a sense of shame that it was the others, the original work was done by Indians, but we failed to carry it forward. It were the others who carried it forward. So the point which I want to make is that India, these very Arab historians, the Arabs, 5, 6 or 7 of them, they have written comprehensive history of the world. It starts from Tabri, goes up to Ibn Khaldun, Ibn Kasir, Ibn Asir and all these people. And I was surprised to see. Normally we don't get those volumes here. Tabri volume, for a year I was in UK in Oxford. So these 9 volumes I had got from Foyle, the famous bookshop of London. I was surprised to see, and then I saw the other volumes also by Ibn Kasir, Ibn Asir, that every one of them, they mention in the first chapter itself. There are 9 volumes, 9, 10, 11, Ibn Kasir I think has 11 volumes. And everybody in the first chapter describing the world civilizations, they say that there are 5 major civilizations in the world. And most of the countries they are the camp followers of these 5 major civilizations. And Arabs have not claimed to be one of them because they were not a great civilization. They were nomadic people. So they start with Iran, Persia. Persian civilization, they say, is known for its majesty. Chinese civilization for its craftsmanship and obedience to the law and the rulers. Turkish civilization for their bravery and courage. Romans for their beauty and chivalry. And finally they say, Indian civilization is the only civilization which is known for promotion of knowledge and wisdom. Each one of them says this. And most possibly the basis of this conclusion is a reported narration of the Prophet himself, where he said, Ajidu rihal ilmi min biladil Hind. I am feeling the cool breeze of knowledge coming from the land of India. So if we were known even before medieval times as knowledge civilization, were we a backward country? Were we a less developed country? Were we a developing country? We need not indulge in self-praise. I am quoting others, how they viewed India, what Max Muller has said, what Bertrand Russell has said. I am saying all these things only to show that we have every reason to feel confident. Yes, we have gone through a long period of fall and decline. There is no doubt about it. We acknowledge that. But our legacy is simply fabulous. We only need to revive that great tradition of knowledge. We need to remind ourselves of the Upanishadic exhortation, tapa swadhyay nirittam, ever devoted to the pursuit of knowledge. Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, in one of his essays, has written, India cannot attain true freedom unless it is recognized that her foundation is in mind, which with its diverse powers and confidence in those powers goes on all the time creating Swaraj for itself. What distinguishes human beings from other beings? It is the power of mind, power of imagination, power to ratiocinate, power of logic. And India has that great tradition of not few hundred years. It is few thousand years. So what basically, when Honorable Prime Minister talks about Viksit Bharat, a knowledge society has no option but to be Viksit, to be developed. Where is the question of not being developed? But we are aware that during the period of decline and fall, somehow, because again, the process of education, knowledge, acquisition of knowledge does not become complete merely by learning. Again, our tradition is very clear. A question has been raised in Upanishad about this matter. And the reply given was, question was asked, what is tapa? And reply was given, tapa is swa adhyay plus pirvachan, acquisition of knowledge and then sharing the knowledge with others. Swami Ranganathananda, in his famous 4 volumes, Eternal Values for a Democracy, he deals with this question. Why, despite being a knowledge civilization, history has been so cruel to us. He said that we were worshippers of knowledge, of Saraswati. But a time came when our worship was confined to lip service. We continued the exercise of acquisition of knowledge, but we stopped sharing it with others. And he quotes from Srimad Bhagavat, Saraswati Gyan Khalv Yatha Sati, which means a scholar who imprisons the knowledge within herself or himself and does not share it with others. That scholar is not a devotee of Saraswati, that scholar is a villain of Saraswati. So what you are engaged in, the noble task that you are pursuing, it is that you are taking this knowledge. You are not just spreading that knowledge. The benefits of that knowledge you are taking to the common man. More, Kerala, I need not say this because this is the pioneer state in India with 100% literacy, so much social awareness. But the whole country, we have a role to play, and we have to contribute in the development of the whole country, which no doubt people from Kerala are doing. There is no state in India, I think there is no country in the world where Malayalis are not present in large numbers and they are making a great contribution. But the agenda which our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister has set out of Viksit Bharat, can we imagine a Viksit Bharat without becoming, I won't say without becoming, I would say without reviving that old knowledge tradition of India. Because knowledge is not something new to us. Nahi jnanam sadrisham pavitra miha vidyate. There is nothing in this world as purifying, source of purification of oneself as knowledge. And that is our tradition. In fact, I use this anecdote so many times that sometimes some of you might have heard it somewhere else, me speaking about it. To me it sounds like Kilish, but it is so important and so powerful that I am tempted to repeat it again and again. Swami Vivekananda was asked this question, what is the purpose of life? Normally people say it is pursuit of happiness. Even among the Indian philosophical schools, there is one school which subscribes to this view, that the one and only purpose of human life is pursuit of happiness. Swami Vivekananda said no. Pursuit of happiness cannot be the purpose of human life. Because if that is the summum and bonum of everything, I am powerful. Who will prevent me from making others unhappy in order to secure more happiness for myself? Then what is the purpose of life? He said the purpose of life is one and only one, and that is pursuit of knowledge. And then what is the purpose of knowledge? His reply is simply wonderful. And this is not something which he claimed to be original. This is rooted in our tradition, his reply. He himself did not claim it to be original. He said the purpose of knowledge is where I am able to develop capability to see underlying unity behind apparent diversity. So kama yata bahusyam pirjayeti. All this yada bhuta pirthak bhava mekasthamanu pashyati. Tat eva cha vistaram brahma sampadyate tada. All this diversity which we see, it all emanates from one and is the manifestation of the one. That is the awareness which creates the sense of responsibility towards others. There is no other. We are all extension of the same one. All this diversity that we see, it is this knowledge, it is this awareness, it is this consciousness which, if we have really internalized the message, then it is this awareness which does not allow us to try to dominate over others. There is no other. Honorable Prime Minister had last year from Red Fort 5 vows which he had talked about. One was to be aware of our legacy, cultural legacy, and to be proud of it. We can be proud of it only if we know about it. We need to inculcate. There are so many things which, it is not necessary. The poetry has been defined as when your soul is injured, then you become from shok, ishlok is created. But there is so much shok around you, everywhere. That itself is enough for a sensitive heart to feel the pain. It is not necessary that you suffer personally. When you read news about a girl like Vismaya, a girl who died day before yesterday, what is her name? Shahana. What is in India, that too in Kerala, a society which was matriarchal society, where women were in the driving seat. And to me, most tragic, heart-rending. But even there is another question which I'm not, I said it at the house of Shahana while talking to the press. I said, why our girls lack this emotional resilience, this strength? Because you feel heartbroken, therefore you are taking your own life? You are punishing yourself for wrong which someone else has committed? Whose duty it is to make them emotionally more strong, to have the strength the moment they feel that any such immoral demand is going to come? Why can't they have the moral strength to say no to it immediately and break the relationship? Whose duty it is? We are every convocation we are collecting these affidavits. We can't take immediate action. We are under no illusion unless there is a judicial verdict. This affidavit which is given by the graduates, you can't really act under it unless there is a judicial verdict. So why this exercise? Every convocation, the exercise is to create public awareness, make people conscious about it. aware about it, the evil of dowry. So whose responsibility it is? Primary responsibility is of the parents. And the second responsibility is of the teachers. And of course society, social responsibility. So societal responsibility, there is absolutely no doubt that there is societal responsibility. So, and when we move ahead on this path, there is no way that India will not emerge. When India does not emerge as a developed country, and when we emerge as a developed country, we actually are going to reclaim our past heritage. We have been described as Sone ki Chidiya. The people from world over used to flock to India. Why? But civilizationally speaking, you know better than me. I am only a student. You have spent your life teaching people. There are cycles in the life of every nation, every civilization. Time comes when a feeling of hubris develops. Possibly at some point of time, our ancestors, they thought on one side is Himalaya, on the other side is Great Sea. So we are immune from any danger. And at that time, instead of being fully prepared to meet any external danger, we invested all our inner energies in killing the internal competition and change every society has these divisions. Here in Raj Bhavan, if I remember, people will bear me out, the first meeting here when about 4 or 5 months after I came here, our defense ADC, his term was over, so a meeting was organized in this hall, farewell meeting, and I sat there. I said, right from me up to the person who is working in the garden, we are one family. We have different jobs to perform. But as far as human dignity and equality are concerned, there is no difference, absolutely none. We are one family. Human dignity and equality, no compromise can be made. People feel, we just look at the history. Fortunately, Kerala has never seen foreign rule. But if you read the history of the North India, 2 armies were fighting, who is going to rule over Delhi, and people in the neighboring villages, huge mobs were collected, smoking hookah. Like today, before the election results are announced, people sit before the TV sets, waiting for the outcome, who is going to rule over us. And historians have documented that the number of people who were waiting to know about the outcome of the battle was much larger than both the armies put together. But they were there. The farmer was plowing in his field. The man who had to wash clothes, he was doing his job. Nobody was disturbed. Even Tulsidas ji, you do not know Hindi, I will translate it for you. He said, "Koi nirap ho hame kahani, dasi ka ban jayi hai rani." Let there be anybody may be king. Let there be anybody who is the ruler. I am a dasi. Dasi means I have to do some menial work. So in any case, for me, there is no chance to sit in that position. People did not have that sense of having a stake in this society. If I do not have a stake in this society, why I am going to lay down my life? And when in India, after this process did not start with the independence of India, it started much earlier, which is described as the Renaissance of India, which started from Bengal all over the country. It started much before freedom. And when people started feeling they have a stake in the society, then what happened? Then you had those who willingly laid down their lives to defend the country. No community of India was left out. Everybody made huge sacrifice. So we have to create an environment where not any particular group, everybody feels the stake in the society. Nobody has this feeling that because of some affiliation, I shall be denied my due. I am not talking of laws, that is for the legislature and parliament. I am talking of the social awareness, where university communities, teaching communities, student communities, those who are into this pursuit of learning, they can play a huge role. And I can only say that I will conclude with that. What Swami Vivekananda has said, that they only live who live for others. We are not the only living beings. There are so many others, but nature has been kind to give us the power of imagination, power of ratiocination, power of logic. So if nature has given us more power, then we have more responsibilities. Not just to live for our own selves, but to recognize and acknowledge the right of others on us. And I shall conclude with a beautiful, beautiful two lines, where Lord Krishna tells Arjun, Partha na eva iha na amutra vinasha tassa vidyate nahi kalyan krit kaschit durgatim tat gacchati. This is a sort of divine promise. Son, he is his cousin, and first he calls him by his name, and he calls him son, as if he is leaving behind a legacy. He is telling him that, son, I tell you that those who work for the welfare of others, they never come to grief either in this world or here in the hereafter. They will never come to a grief. If we work when we work with this spirit, then I have no doubt India we will have Viksit Bharat in time much less than what people are talking about. And we will be doing our duty. We will be doing our duty to our country and our countrymen, and not only to the countrymen. I think this one point also I should make, that India, howsoever powerful it becomes, India will never have design to dominate over others. Why? Because our cultural values do not allow us. Our power will be used only for the benefit of mankind. Our power can never be used. It has not been used in the past, and if we are conscious of our cultural legacy, then our power can only be used for the welfare and good of mankind, which is called Lok Sangraha in our tradition. Thank you very much for giving me this patient hearing, and I wish all of you all the best, and I am confident that in this yatra, in this journey, you will play a great role. Thank you very much. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Valle nanni jai.